All right, guys, we have Khai Wu here. Jake, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Awesome. Kai, how you doing? First PFL fight week. How's it feel?
Good. I'm excited, I words can't describe like it's the first event, like the for me, and it's the championship card. I didn't expect to be on such a huge card right off the bat. But, honestly, it feels like all the hard work through the years kind of is finally paying off here. So I'm really excited.
And then what are your overall goals with the PFL?
Um, I mean, to put it bluntly, bring PFL to Asia. I think that was one of the main reasons why this whole deal kind of went down with me and the PFL. But first off, is just to contribute, to the younger talent, development and all that stuff. I think I keep saying going into this fight, I'm a late bloomer. That just means I get better as time goes on. So I'm really hoping to add some value now that I've been a little bit more seasoned and developed.
And then, from my understanding, one of your teammates is none other than Mark Zuckerberg. Is this correct?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So let me just ask you, is it true? Is this guy actually that good at martial arts? It's like, what's it like training with Mark Zuckerberg?
Well, the issue with people going like, well, how good is he? It's like if you compare him to like a UFC fighter, a PFL high level PFL fighter, and all these things, it's like, like what are you categorizing them as? But someone that's successful as him, at his age, getting into martial arts, it's like, man, he takes it very seriously. It's not a gimmick. It's not like an act where he's doing this for fun and then like you don't expect to see him in the next couple weeks. It's like, no, he's been doing it for a while. He's really disciplined and really I'm not kidding when I say this, like a student of the game. Like he asks questions. People want to say he's not a real fighter, he's never fought, but it's like, okay, at the same time though, I think he's a martial artist then. If you want to get technical, he's a martial artist because he trains a lot, and this is his like coffee, in the mornings. He likes to train.
And then last one for me, thoughts on your opponent, Phil Caracappa, and a prediction for your first fight in the Smart Cage.
Ooh, I think he's tough. I'm getting a really tough guy, someone with more fights than me, more experience, bigger, faster, stronger. But I like to think that I rise to the occasion, and I think perhaps there might be some underestimation on my on my opponent's part. So maybe I capitalize and look for a finish.
Thanks so much, Kai.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Hey there, Kai. I appreciate you making the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
I guess just the first question I had, because I saw you had a post a bit ago talking about how it was kind of surreal being that you fought for Bellator in 2018 and now signed with PFL. I think you've got interesting localized insights. Like, what are your thoughts on this recent merger between PFL and Bellator?
Man, I think it is still surreal. Like I was chatting with my teammates and all that. It's like, who would have thought, we'd end up here? Like I think they say, a lot of people say be realistic, but a lot of the things that have happened, I think, are very unrealistic. And like, what timing? You know what I mean? And to be a part of this historical moment in MMA where I fought for Bellator 2018. I wanted to fight for him again. And then 5 years later, after being a pro, I'm signed with PFL. On the fight week, they announced the merger. And on top of that, the fact that I'm the first PFL bantamweight fight is just a lot of like historical moments kind of going on. And one thing I learned back when I was fighting for Bellator was I never really took in the moments. Now I'm just kind of like enjoying it, letting it soak in, letting it feel, like letting the feelings kind of just go through, as opposed to just go like, man, this is awesome. And then just, forget to kind of enjoy the moment. So I'm really enjoying this moment now.
Yeah, well, I love hearing how present you can be for all of this. And I guess just a quick follow-up question to that, because Mark Zuckerberg was mentioned. I saw you got to see him compete. Is he going to be, returning the favor, getting to see you compete in the Smart Cage here?
I'm sure at some point, but I think it's kind of the tough part about that is it's this week where it's like Thanksgiving and like my family isn't even coming just because there's a lot of like moving parts. It's not so easy. And also, I think what's nice is this fight is broadcasted on ESPN, so for everyone that wants to watch, they could just tune in there and see me all around the world. I know I have a lot of fans over in Asia that is finally getting to see me on the big screen, instead of, the smaller shows or this and that. Now it's like official on ESPN, so I'm excited about that. So I think he might be tuning in there. I don't know. He's kind of a busy guy, kind of runs a company.
Yeah, he might have a thing or two on the go. Just thought to ask. Very excited to see this fight all the same, though. So thanks for the insights, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Mike.
Just curious, you talked about the kind of importance and monumental moments that have been happening coming into this week. For you, also someone mentioning, how you're getting started at a later stage. Isn't that the beauty of this sport, though, that you can come in really and we talked, Mark Zuckerberg was mentioned, you can come in at any point, no matter what stage of life or how old you are, and you can compete among some of the very best martial artists in the world, which you'll have the opportunity to do this weekend.
Yeah, I think it comes down to comparison, like if you can compare me to, someone like Biagio, then I'm way behind, but that's the thing. You don't compare yourself to others on this journey because his journey started off different than mine. So, and then on top of that, if you do comparisons, you're not going to really be happy for yourself or for others. You end up with this jealous mindset. But the thing is, it's like, I love seeing other people successful. You don't want to wish downfall anyone. So I am right where I'm supposed to be. And then, same thing with Mark. Like, he got into it later on in life, but guess what? He's still doing great, and what are your goals at the end of the day? I don't think he wanted to be a pro fighter. I think he did what he did, is very successful at it. And I'm currently doing what I'm doing. And as a result, by talking to you guys, I think it somewhat says that it's paying off, the hard work slowly paying off. So I think, what you said is correct. Like, anyone can start off. That's the beauty of it. But I think the key thing is going in there with a mentality of not comparing your journey or your path with anyone else's, because yours might have had more twists and turns than someone else's, and it's hard to compare those numbers and, get an exact like replica of how someone's career should go. So, I'm just happy to be here. And like you said, it's a beauty.
What do you make having this platform, though? Because you fought for multiple organizations, the aforementioned Bellator, and, Don Davis has already said, like, in 5 years, co-leader, not second place, not the second promotion, co-leader in this sport. And now you're on their stage and really have the opportunity to elevate not only with the promotion, but your career itself. How excited are you coming into this fight week?
Oh, I mean, it's incredible. But now that I'm with PFL and I'm signed to them, and Bellator is the acquisition, it's my job now to speed up that process. When he says 5 years, I'm doing my best to try to get it sooner, maybe 3 years. So my job is now to fight hard for my spot in this company and help it elevate and take it to the next level, other than just fighting, because it's an exchange, right? They give me a platform, and I just need to perform and help them out in that department. So, it's a job, and I'm really looking forward to it, because when you like your job and you like who you work with, it makes things a heck of a lot easier.
Last one for me, and I appreciate the time. Throughout all your stops and all the promotions you've fought for, what is the biggest thing you've learned through it all? And are you bringing that with you here to the PFL?
There's a lot of lessons. I think the one that stands out the most is just, like I was saying, enjoying the moment, because a lot of these things, they're like, man, like, you're very jittery, you're just constantly on one, and you're like, man, I need to get this done. And you're just kind of spazzing out, if you will. It's almost like you're on like caffeine and just amped up. For me, it's like, just enjoy the moment, chat with the people behind the scenes. A lot of people tend to go into fight weeks just kind of like laser focused on their fights, as they should be. But I like to say thank you to the people behind the cameras, and, like the people that are doing the interviews. Appreciate you guys. And just chatting with everyone, getting to know everyone's backstory. I like taking my mind off the fight when I'm heading into it, because no matter what, it's going to happen. There's no point in putting yourself through it twice, So that's kind of how I'm going into it with that lesson.
Jay, Christian.
Khai Wu, Shadow, how are you, sir? It's Jay Christian Gary at Focus Fights Audio.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
I see. Now, as has been mentioned throughout this entire little session here, you come into the PFL with a lot of hype behind you, fighting in Asia, fighting up and down the California coast, fighting for Bellator, hell, even hanging out and teaming up with Zuck on a few training sessions. But with your fight against Phil Karakappa being a showcase, and I hate to correct you on this, it's not on ESPN, it's on ESPN Plus. But what do you think fight fans will get out of seeing you compete in a major promotion for the first time? Well, for the second time, actually.
Yeah, I think, thanks for the correction. I think what it does is it's just the accumulation of the support I've brought. It takes it to a whole nother level. People that have been tuning in or on the fence about it, and also the people that don't know who I am. It just gives me a bigger platform. I already know how to do all the behind the scenes stuff. So now it's just like putting myself out there and competing against someone as tough as my opponent. I think it adds to my resume. It takes my fighting career one step further. And then on top of that, just getting to chat with more people, opening up, maybe combining the markets of potentially here in Asia. I think that's a good capture, so that's one of my goals heading into this fight, just bridging markets and opening up.
Mm-hmm. And as you mentioned, you are a fighter of Asian American descent. You probably want to bring PFL into Asia, but you also come into this carrying obviously the whole culture on your shoulders. How would you be able to help the next Asian American superstar or success story, regardless of what genre of entertainment, or even if they don't even follow entertainment, with your skills as an athlete?
Well, first and foremost, it would have to be putting the spotlight on them. There's so much more talent that's starting out. I mean, the fact that they don't have the greatest coaching or the knowledge or a platform to shine on. There's guys that I've met over in Asia where they're more talented than I am, just gifted. So I want to open up the doors and bring them in. You know what I mean? Just give them a chance to shine and introduce them to the world. So at the end of the day, I think my job is not only just to fight, but also to do well enough to get enough attention on me where I have a platform and a voice to kind of give it to everyone that I think deserves a shot too. A rising tide raises all ships, and that's my mentality kind of going into it.
Exactly. Well, other than that, I hope you do well in your fight against Mr. Karakappa. Best of skill to you. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.
You're welcome.
Mills, please finish us up with Khai.
Hey, how's it going? It's MMA Locker Room, part of Pup Sports Radio. How you doing, Shadow?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. I just want to ask you something, man. One of your fights, you finished your opponent with a Peruvian necktie. Can you walk me through that finish and how that happened? Because, I mean, a lot of people ain't able to finish their opponents with prestige submissions like that.
Oh, man, what if I was going to submit my opponent with this? Now you have me spill the secrets. It's actually a correction. It's not a Peruvian necktie. The Peruvian necktie is a different grip, but I call mine the Chinese necktie just because it's like, there's a Japanese necktie, there's all sorts of neckties. I was like, might as well make mine like Asian, So it's just a grip difference. And the reason why I did that move is because when I was like 14, I did like a fun super fight in-house at our gym, and I was going against a brown belt. And he shot in on me. He was an adult. And I was going to lose no matter what. But then for some reason, he did a lazy double leg. And I actually surprised him by sprawling him out. And then I threw on that submission because I actually watched it back in the day. I don't know I forgot who pulled it off. I'd love to give him credit for it, but I watched it on TV. And then I did it. Then I actually submitted him. And he was like, wow, I can't believe you did that. And then he was like, I'll beat you 9 times out of 10. I'm like, I believe you, maybe even 10 times out of 10. It's just 0.1 chance he ran into me. And so once I hit that move, I did maybe like 100 jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I've pulled that off there. And then I was like, man, I never see this move in MMA, so I'm gonna throw it on and try it out. And then I ended up getting this mission.
Got it. And then for the people that's not familiar with your fight style, few words. How would you describe your fight style?
This is how I describe my fighting career. I'd say it's like Batman. Like I have none of the skills to hang with the big dogs. I just got to train extremely hard, use all the gadgets I got, like my Therabody recovery tools to heal up my wounds because I can't heal up overnight. But fight IQ, you know, I always have that kryptonite in my back pocket for everyone. And give me prep time, which you know PFL does. They give me a contract months in advance, and I have prep time. I think you use that fight IQ and intelligence to beat my opponents.
Got it. And last one for me. I mean, I know everybody's bringing up Mark Zuckerberg training with you. I'm pretty sure he learned a lot of things off you, but can you tell us a few things that you actually learned off of him?
Yeah, it's actually not fighting related at all. It's more discipline in life because he like rarely ever skips a day. And also, as I was saying before in a couple other interviews, I want to get my business mindset better. You know, I see him super successful. He goes into fight. He's a businessman going into fighting, and then I want to be the fighter going into business. You know, so I don't know. Maybe get into business after PFL. Just tighten up, do some own things. You know, some ideas that I have. But yeah, that's what I learned from him.
All right, best of luck. Can't wait to see your debut this week on PFL.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate your time today. We're just gonna go.